Welcome to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa Caprio. Do you believe in magic? What if you were told that all you had to do was get a little creative and work a magic spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Here on Postcards to the Universe, we will share manifesting, tips, postcards, creativity, abundance, and prosperity. Here is your host, Melissa Caprio.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa, creating the life you crave. How are you guys doing? How's your new year going so far this year? So far it's been pretty good. There's a lot of chaos, but not terrible chaos, so I think I can handle that. I hope it's working the same for you guys over there. Today I have a really cool guest all the way across the pond, the transformational Seamus Corry, and he's going to join me in just a few minutes. To my regulars, I want to say thank you so much for being here with me each week. You have no idea how much that means to me. I mean, I love that you guys show up every week. And if you're joining me for the first time, a little bit about me. I'm an author. I have a book, and it's titled Postcards to the Universe, Harness the Universe's Power and Manifest Your Dreams. And in my book, I have 30 manifesting stories along with the photographs that I took of the contributors of their postcards that they sent me. And a postcard is kind of like a little mini vision board. So it's like whatever somebody wanted to manifest in their life, they would pick one thing. They would send me the postcard. I would photograph it. When their manifestation showed up in the reality, I would share their stories. And I categorized it in the book into different places that we want to manifest more abundance, like in our relationships, of course, money, right, and health, and our careers, and there's just so much more to it, and there's tons of fun exercises and how to manifest in those areas that I put in the book for everybody, and also some writing exercises where it helps us get clear on those things that we want to manifest, because we're not always sure about what it is we want. We just know a certain feeling we want, right? Like, why do we want more money? What does money represent to you? I mean, everybody's like, oh yeah, it's obvious. But is it obvious? You think it is, but not necessarily true, because money is just a tool to bring you to ... whatever that is, right? So those are the things that we work on in the book. And if you're interested in learning more about it, you can purchase my book at Barnes & Noble or Amazon or your favorite bookstore. You can ask them if they don't already have it in stock to get it for you. So I hope that you do, and let me know what your thoughts are on the book. I also started doing live readings from the book, and I'm re-photographing the postcards in each postcard in the book, and I started reading them on TikTok, Instagram, and I post them on LinkedIn and YouTube, and they're 5-minute videos of everybody's story, and I show a picture from the book so that you can follow along. So I would love it if you came aboard and you checked out the videos and liked them and, tagged me your thoughts. I mean, that would mean the world to me, because this book is my baby, and I want to hear what people think. And the people that have reached out to me and told me that they really love the book, it means so much to me. So please check it out. A few other things that I'm doing. I started doing a couple of workshops, and one I'm doing is called Manifesting Through Gratitude, a visual journey. And that runs Thursday evenings, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And in the workshop, we're using gratitude as our tool to manifesting abundance. And what's really cool about this workshop that I'm doing is I'm having us incorporate our camera phones, using that on our daily gratitude practice. So it's 5 weeks. It's online. You could do it from the comfort of your home. Each week, we're focusing on a different area of our lives, and I'm going to be giving everyone photo prompts and writing exercises to do during our workshop, and to get us really into tapping into being grateful for what is already in our life, because the more we tap into that vibration of gratitude, the more things show up for us to be grateful for. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me, but I would love to see you there. It's a lot of fun. And another workshop I'm doing, this is a one-day workshop. It's a Saturday workshop, 3 hours. It's called Put Your Wishes to Work and Manifest the Life You Desire. And this one is going to be held February 17th, 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern. That's a Saturday afternoon. And we're going to be making manifesting postcards together. So yeah, check it out. If you want to know more, just go to postcardstotheuniverse.com, and the workshops are listed, and anything about me, and it links to all my social medias. You can join me and ask me any questions that you want, and I would love to see you in my workshops. And I also have a public Facebook group called Postcards of Love, and you can find me on there if you want to share some fun and uplifting stories. It's all fun, uplifting stuff. Nothing serious, nothing sad. We just want to add more positivity to the world. So I mentioned my guest, and I'm going to read you his bio, and I'm going to talk to Seamus. So Seamus Corry knows grief, loneliness, and rejection like no other. Because of this, he also knows transformation, empowerment, and resilience. His experiences, coupled with his genuine, kind, and nurturing soul, are the foundation of the Potentially You project. And Seamus visioned this, and over the past 10 years has been successfully delivering well-being support, confidence building, and pastoral personal development packages for individuals and organizations. And he has a workshop called the Keystone To Success, and it's for those who want to do something different. Be someone different, go in a different direction, explore the outer reaches, go boldly where you have not traveled before, and explore new worlds, ideas, and concepts until you find the true source of power. And if you want to learn more about Seamus, you can go to him on finduniquelyu.com/workshops. And if you look up his name, it's Seamus Corry. Seamus Corry. Hi, Seamus. Thanks for being here today.
Hey, Melissa. How are you? And listen, such a real pleasure. It's really, you've ticked my bucket list by being on your show. So, absolutely fantastic, Melissa, to be here. And what a great kick off to the new year by being on your show. It's such a pleasure for me.
Oh, thank you so much. So, Seamus, you're in Scotland, right? You're in Scotland?
I am. Yeah, I am. Currently, I'm working in Scotland, but my home base is Manchester in England. That's where I live. So I work in Scotland. I work with organisations across Scotland to deliver well-being programs and well-being support, and really send the message out clear and loud that well-being is important. People's well-being is massively important, and massively underrated right now in the world we live. And my message and my mission is clear: to support well-being, to develop well-being for people, and to support people to be the best that they can be through developing good well-being program and strategies. So that's where I am right now.
Oh, I love that. And I know you didn't always feel this way, and your background, you suffered, you went through some grief and some depression of your own, and you weren't always in that space. So for everybody listening, can you share a little bit about like what was going on in your life and what made you want to shift into doing and helping people establish their own sense of well-being and transformation? Because I agree with you. I think that's so important. I think so many of us are suffering or have suffered, and we're trying to shift that within ourselves. And for those of us who have been doing work for a long time, that's part of the reason I do this show and have guests like you on, is to show that it doesn't have to be like that. You don't have to live in suffering. You can shift your life, whatever that looks like for you. So, all right, I'm going to give you over and let you tell us your story.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. Well, my story begins 54 years ago, believe it or not, in a little village called 6 Mile Bridge in the western seaboard in the Republic of Ireland. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I was born, Melissa, my father, who was head of our household, decided that I should be a Roman Catholic priest as soon as I was born. Wow. So I was chosen to be the Catholic priest in the family, and I was very much throughout my early life, conditioned into that belief, and believed that I had a calling or a vocation from God to be a priest. And I believed nothing else about my life. This was my calling. This was my way of life. This is what I was born to do. At 15 and a half, I went off, just turned 16, I went off to join the Catholic Church and enter into seminary life for the next 6 years. And I can honestly say, Melissa, that the experience that I had, and I only speak from my experience, I don't speak for the experience of others within the Catholic Church. I share only my experience, but my experience was one of systematic abuse, both institutional, and it came down to a personal level. It was a horrendous environment to live and work and study in, and as I suppose I saw there all the trappings of the institution Catholic Church, and I sit here today and I wonder how I got through all that, and I must have had some degree of personal resilience that I wasn't even aware of, because at 24 I was ordained a Roman Catholic priest for the Diocese of Killaloe, and hey presto, I achieved my father's objective, my family's objective, my community's objective. I became a priest. I became a minister of the cloth, as it were. But very soon after that, I became aware of, I suppose, thoughts and ideas and questions entering into my head, and I asked myself, is this it? Is this all that? Is this it? Have I achieved everything I need to achieve in my life? Is this my life in total? Is this going to be my life for the next 50 years? And as these questions came up, I put them off to one side because they were in conflict with my chosen profession. I could really not ask myself questions like that, because to do so would be to question the vocation and question the livelihood and question the profession I got myself into. But these questions kept coming, and it got me to a point in my life where I had to listen to the universe. I had to begin to listen to the sound and what the universe was telling me. And I got to a point in my life where I reached a personal crisis. I had to take some time away to reflect, and I came to the decision that really the choice that was made for me was not the right choice. The choice that I had been chosen for was not right for me. So I made, I suppose, the first decision in my life, based on my own experience and knowledge that I had at that particular time, was to leave the Roman Catholic priesthood. And as I did that, and as you can appreciate, coming from a very rural background, a very small, a community of about 900 people who were 99.99% Catholic, who saw me as the wonder child, as it were. So to turn around less than 2 years later and really say to them I didn't want to be this anymore was huge. It was huge. Yeah. It was like a nuclear bomb went off in the middle of the community, and there was a massive fallout for everybody concerned, not least myself, because I found myself in a very short space of time after that, homeless, an exile, an immigrant. Everybody that I knew and loved and understood me as I thought at that particular time turned their back on me. I moved to Scotland. I had to start over. I started in a country that I didn't even have a registration number, so I was considered really a non-entity. I didn't know anybody. I was a stranger in a strange community, in a strange land, in a strange country. And I suppose to put a long story very short, I suppose I began to ask myself some questions around what do I do now? Would it be better? Would it be better for me to continue? Would it be better for me to exist? Would it be better for me to, or would it be better for me to leave this planet? And thankfully, I suppose I made the decision to stay and get, stick in, as it were, and in some way find my purpose and find my understanding. I suppose I would say to you, Melissa, that in essence, when I listen to the voices of others, they've always kind of led me astray. But when I've listened to the voice of the universe and what the universe has told me and my gut instinct, that has always kept me right and steered me on the right path. And I think for the past, 24, 25 years, what I've tried to do is try and answer 4 fundamental questions in my own life. And my program, as you've quite beautifully described, will try to answer those questions for individuals who want to share that journey with me. And those 4 questions are quite fundamental. Because when I left the priesthood when I was 26, I didn't know who I was, Melissa. I didn't know what I was. I didn't know what I wanted. And I didn't know how I was going to achieve it. And, I can honestly turn around to you and say right now with my hand on heart and as honest as I can be with you, that over the past quarter of a century, and it's been a long quarter of a century, I have had a wonderful journey being guided by the universe, which has opened up new pathways, opened up new explorations for me. I have really found out a lot about myself. I now know who I am and find out more about myself every single day. I now know what I am, whether it be a well-being consultant, whether it be a father, whether it be a grandfather, whether it be a guider, mentor, facilitator, trainer, whatever I am. I know fundamentally who I am, and what I am, and that is to support people, to help people, enable people who might have been or are currently as confused as I once was as to what their true purpose in life is. And I suppose, having answered those 2 fundamental questions, the next 2 questions really are as important. And that basically, these can be difficult questions, because we live in a very confusing world sometimes. And really, and I have to say, Melissa, in terms of your book, and I read your book, and your book is absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It should be on the bestsellers list if it's not on the bestsellers list. And can I encourage all your listeners? Can I encourage all your listeners today, wherever you may be, please go out and purchase today Postcards to the Universe, please.
Thank you.
Melissa is not paying me to say that, but it's a wonderful book. Because when we align our destiny to the destiny that the universe has given us, then what we want will appear. What we want to achieve will appear. And it will also give us the pathway in order to help us achieve what we need to achieve in our life. And that fundamentally is where I am, Melissa. And that is my mission in life. It's as simple as that. I'm there to guide, support, and signpost people to be the best that they can be, whether that be improve their well-being, whether that be improve their mental health, whether that be encourage them to step outside into the long grass and maybe do something that they haven't done before, but at all be there with them as a guide on the side, be their brother from another mother, to support them, take the journey that will really fulfill the destiny for them.
I love that. And I love that you said something that was really important. You said, anytime I have listened to other people tell me what I should be doing, It has never steered me in the right path. And anytime I've listened to myself and my intuition and the universe and all the signs that we see before us, that because it must have taken a tremendous amount of courage to go against not only your father and your family. And I've been to Ireland, and besides Italy, Ireland with the Catholic Church, it's a big deal. It's a big deal over there. So I can imagine. Yeah, and a small town. You said Killaloe? I was in Killaloe. Is that where you said you were? Is that where it was?
Right. Well, it was the diocese of Killaloe. So it stretched from Killaloe all the way up to the outskirts of Dublin. That was the size of the diocese that I was that I was part of. Yeah.
But just knowing that you were taking that chance, that not only was your family going to turn their back on you and you were going to disappoint them, that the whole community would turn their back on you, is amazing. That you actually listened to what was going on inside of you and had enough reverence for yourself to say that I'm going to take this leap of faith, because most people, or at least many people, not most people, but many people would stick it out and say, well, this was chosen for me. I don't really have a choice, and would mask their deep unhappiness in other ways, right? Because they just wouldn't be able to do it. And and you were so young when you did it. So you went over to Scotland, and then you sort of rediscovered yourself. And I want to get into that, but we take a break at the half-hour mark, so we're going to be coming up to that in just a little bit here. So before we jump into that, but I thought another thing that you said that was really interesting, and I love that that's how you try to help people, is that you've experienced this yourself. So it's always amazing hearing from somebody who has gone through it themselves, so they can say to you or say to whoever's listening, you're not alone. I've been there. I know how you feel. I know you feel stuck. I know you feel, miserable in your life. Believe me, I get it. I was there myself, and look at where I'm at now, because you just said that you have been nothing but living in joy and passion for the last 25 years, right? Since you've made those choices for yourself. And that doesn't mean that it's been an easy path. We're not saying that it's going to be easy by any means, right? So let's take our break here, and then we're going to dive into what that looked like when you first started coming out of that and you decided to make that shift. So guys, stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes here with Seamus. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Conscious media for conscious minds. Om Times. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Everyone has a story. I have a story. You have a story. We all have a story. As I see it, you have three choices. Allow your story to define you, use it to excuse you, or utilize it as a method to empower you. It's your life. You have the power. You choose. Rewrite your story on finduniquelyyou.com.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on Om Times Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free, ascendinghearts.com.
Hi, I'm Melissa Caprio from Postcards to the Universe, creating the life you crave. Do you believe in magic? What if I told you all you had to do was get a little creative and work a dream spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Well, guess what? I've got the spell for you. Postcards to the Universe, a global movement for manifestation, is a casting magical tool for you to use whenever you want. How does living in passion sound to you? Join me in my movement where you get to create in the magical playground. Let's think outside the box and do some playful conjuring. By casting out our desires with a manifesting postcard, we explore our hearts and allow the alchemy of our dreams to appear. And don't forget to tune in each week here on Om Times Radio with my show, Postcards to the Universe, creating the life you crave at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I share tips on creativity, abundance, and prosperity, and you will be introduced to the coolest guests, trailblazers, mystics, and creatives who enrich our lives. Hi, everyone, and welcome back. If you're just joining me, I have Seamus Corry on, and we're talking about basically, shifting our lives and finding our internal spark and following along with what we're really meant to do. And Seamus, I was thinking during the break, how lonely you must have felt being in the priesthood, knowing deep down that this isn't where you were supposed to be, right? And trying to get yourself, like, what do I do now, right? Like, I'm here. Yeah. I don't want to disappoint God, my family, the church, the community, but you took a leap of faith and you decided to forge your own path. So for anybody listening who is feeling stuck, because I know that's part of what you teach or you help with people, is people who feel stuck. Mm-hmm. What would you say is the first thing that they should do? What was the first thing that you did once you made the decision and you were on your way to your new life? What's the first thing somebody should do?
It is, I suppose, for me, Melissa, it was quite apparent. I suppose when your whole life has been centered around one particular form of destiny, mm-hmm. and then that destiny is no more, what does that leave you with? It leaves you with a void. It leaves mm-hmm. you with a real emptiness. It also leaves you confused and full of questions and anxiety and worry about, like you say, what am I going to do now? Mm-hmm. This didn't work for me. What am I going to do now? Where do I turn? The first thing I would say, Melissa, that we all should do mm-hmm. is breathe. And we mm-hmm. should never forget how to breathe, because breathing is massively important. Mm-hmm. And for me, I had to learn literally how to breathe again, and learn how to breathe properly and slow my mind down and slow my brain mm-hmm. down. So for me, I began to meditate. Okay. I began to, in a sense, connect my energy to the universal energy. I began mm-hmm. to try and, I suppose, slow down my spinning head and my speeding mind to really to understand me, to really begin to understand what I wanted, to really mm-hmm. begin to understand how I worked and how I operated. I really had to go on a self-exploration by starting how to breathe properly, in terms of finding out who am I? Who is this guy, mm-hmm. Seamus Corry? Who is this guy, mm-hmm. right? Because Seamus Corry was defined as a Roman Catholic priest. Take mm-hmm. that away from him. Who is he now? Who is he to himself? Who is he to others? And I suppose I've spent the last 25 years, Melissa, answering mm-hmm. that question. And when I consider that question, and when I think about that question, I suppose one of the first things I have to do is just slow down. Because you know yourself that the universe mm-hmm. goes at a completely different speed to the speed mm-hmm. of everybody else, right? Yes. And when you connect to that frequency, certain things will appear. certain things will show themselves. Certain things will come into your path that you've got to take due cognizance of and spend time reflecting on. And one of the, with all due respect, Melissa, one of the books I first read on this subject was a book by the great Dr. Wayne Dyer, who wrote a book, You'll See It When You Can Believe It, or You'll Achieve It When You Can Believe It, something along that title. And I remember in the early days of my journey getting this book out, and I suppose I was filled with a whole wide range of emotions, right? And the last thing I wanted, with the greatest of respect, was an American individual turning around to me and telling me, by simply connecting my awareness and my energy to that of the universe and manifesting what I wanted, it would simply arrive. And in the early days, I was a bit of a cynic, Melissa, right? So I said to myself, I tell you what, I'm going to get Wayne Dyer's book from the library, and I got it from the library, and I sat down with it, and I kid you not, I went through every single exercise in that book that he told me to do, with the realization, and my intention was to write to him once the project had failed, as it were, and say to him that his book he had written was a load of rubbish. In essence, the opposite happened, because by doing everything that he instructed me to do through that book, and it's a wonderful book, and likewise doing everything that you instruct people to do in your book in a similar fashion, honestly, magic happens and the universe comes through for us. And I can honestly sit here today in happiness and joy, knowing that the universe has my back.
I love that. It's called You'll See It When You Believe It. I know the book well because I've read a lot of Wayne's. Yes, I've read a lot of Wayne's, and he was one of the first ones, him and Louise Hay, who sort of started me on my journey and a similar situation. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And yes, that is true. It's so many of us think that the universe doesn't have our back, right? That life is, we believe those old stories that life is meant to be a struggle, that you have to work super hard to get anywhere in life. And when we tell ourselves these stories, that's what shows up for us. But when we start to shift it and we change it, the universe will surprise us and meet us in magical ways. When we see it already, then we'll believe it. And most of us say we want to, like most of us won't believe it. You know, it's like we need the evidence before, but you have to create the evidence in your mind, and then the universe will show it. And it takes work. It takes work. Don't get me wrong.
It absolutely does. Listen, you just don't create it and you sit back and let the universe do the thing, right? You've got to actively get involved. You have to actively align your energy and your passion to your manifestation so it can be achieved, because you've already seen it. You've already seen it. If you turned around 12 months to me, Melissa, and said that I would be on an amazing radio show, speaking with an amazing host who's written an amazing book, they're speaking to all your amazing listeners out there, you know, I would have said you're crazy, right? I would have said you're crazy 12 months ago. But I made the decision about 6 months ago, and I met two wonderful people. Met two wonderful people who came into my life. You know, Angela DeMarco and Dana Sardano, who, in my opinion, are human angels on earth. These individuals are amazing. Ladies and gentlemen of the radio audience, if you haven't connected with these individuals, connect with them on their Going Commando podcast on findinguniquelyyou.com. They don't pay me to say this, but I'm encouraging everybody to connect with these two amazing individuals, because they come into my path, right? People come into your path. And like I said, you know, you've got to take cognizance of that. You've got to reflect on that. And from the moment I connected with Angela and Dana, we were connected. It's like we'd been there before. We had seen all the conversations before. We were completely in alignment. And from that initial discussion, from that initial discussion, the program that you see before you, and the program that I'm showing and presenting, and hopefully going to deliver to some of your listeners, is presented itself. And but not only that, from that, how then do I get the program out? And then I made a connection with you, Melissa, and we spoke, and we connected, and you said to me, why not you come on my show? So I'm now on your show. So the universe has our back all the time. I have a vision and mission in my mind, that I want to spread this message wide across the world. I want it to be a global message. I want people to be aligned in terms of this message. And I want people to connect with this message really at a human-to-human level. Because really, these are the 4 fundamental questions I think we all ask ourselves from time to time. And if you are stuck, and if you are confused, then speaking to people who have been there, done that, and now wear that T-shirt, in my case, me, can help you and support you create the life that you want. It's as simple and as profound as that.
It's true. It is true. And that's how we met. You and I met was through, Dana's been on my show, actually. I haven't had Angela yet. Let me say yet. But that's how you and I met. And we are both doing workshops on their finduniquelyyou.com and the workshop. So they have asked both you, Seamus, and me to do a workshop there. So that's what we created, and you and I met. And I never would have thought about doing it that way either until the universe put Dana in my path. And that's how we connected. And I don't even, it was like we met through, I don't even remember. We met actually online, and we're both in Florida, interestingly enough. We've never met in person. But we've met online, and we've connected and now done some work together. So, it is pretty amazing. And that's what happens when you start to follow your path, the path you're meant to be on, and you embracing that, because little things will show up. A book will cross your path. You'll be introduced to someone. You'll take a left when you thought you were going to take a right because someone said, oh no, go look over there. And then that leads you to your next step, and then your next step, and your next step. It's always that way. And if you really look at all of those amazing connections that you make, you can see, if you're self-aware enough, you can see like, oh, wow, that did work out for me. And what it took me a while to learn, and even the painful things were for my benefit. And that takes a while to really understand, because if I didn't have certain experiences in my past, it would have never taken me to where I am now. I had to go through that to get here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's important to say that, Melissa, it's not going to be an easy journey. And there are some difficult days in the journey, some really dark days in the journey. There are days when you'll want to give up. There will be days when you want to throw in the towel. There'll be days when it just won't work for some unknown reason. But it's having that trust. It's having that intuition. It's having that connection, that knowing that when you find your true purpose, irrespective of the challenges that are placed before you, you can achieve, because you can see it. You can absolutely see it. And I find myself surrounded by individuals such as yourself, such as Angela, such as Dana, such as Tara, such as those wonderful, such as Jeff, such wonderful people that are in my circle now, who, if you ever needed to believe in something working, you just go to these people because it's working, and it's working really well. When I see my own life right now, and I see the life from which I came from, I'm 25 years on, I'm 54 years of age, and I could not be happier. I am a billionaire when it comes to my own level of human happiness right now, because I am a father, I am a grandfather, I am a husband, I've got my own business, I'm doing the work that I purposefully was, I believe, truly put in this world to do. I'm in a place I talk to so many people, I support so many people, I've had so many conversations with people that honestly, I'm 100% convinced that this is where the universe wants me to be right now. And, to do what I do in the way that I do it, to support so many people, to be there for so many people, I know you feel the same. It's a true sacred ground and sacred territory, because you're with people at the most vulnerable to support them to become stronger. And I suppose Dana, as you know, uses a really good phrase called Ubuntu. And Ubuntu is, I am because we are. And we're only as strong as the people we have in our circle. And I think as we take this journey, and we support this journey, we certainly, once we listen and once we learn how to breathe properly, and once we take cognizance and reflect of all the things in our life, we also need to do a little bit of clear out. And we also need to do, clear out those things that are not in alignment. And these things they can be difficult, and they can be painful to come to terms with. And again, we'll need help and support with that. But once you have that clear out, it fills that space with newness and new opportunities, new freshness, and new connections will come into your life that you'd never expected before. And honestly, Melissa, I am connected to a universal set of people who stretch the 5 continents of this world. And, I'm connected to people all over the world now. Some people I've never met physically yet, but we've connected through the power of social media, through the power of connection, through the power of technology. So I can be in Scotland tonight speaking to you. Where are you, Melissa, right now?
I'm in Florida.
So you're in Florida. I'm in Scotland. On times is managing the session, from their own base. It's a wonderful. It's a wonderful experience. It's wonderful. Technology is wonderful. Life is wonderful.
I love listening to you talk, because I can feel every time I talk with you or we connect on social media, your joy is just contagious. I love that you said, I am the billionaire in my own life, and it has nothing to do with the actual money in your bank account. I just love that, and I really believe you when you say it, but that's how you feel. And I think that's why so many people resonate with you and want to talk to you and want to connect with you, because you have that ability, to bring that out. And I want to talk about, because in your workshop, you ask us questions, right? Like, do we feel stuck in our life? Do we want to renew and reset our, in our personal circumstances? And there is one question that stands out, and it says, maybe you just want to find out who you really are. And I thought, that's interesting. That's really powerful, because we don't always know who we really are. Because like you said earlier in the beginning, as other people are telling us who we are, but who are we really? So can you expand on that a little bit when you ask us that question?
Yeah.
Who are we?
Absolutely. So when you ask this question, who am I? Right? Who am I? Who am I to myself? I know who I am to other people. So you might be a lover, you might be a partner, you might be a spouse, you might be a creator, you might be a trainer, you might be a facilitator. But who am I to myself? What makes me special? What makes me unique? What makes me tick? And, and it may be the first time, Melissa, that we have actually asked that question of ourselves.
Yeah.
And when you ask that question of yourself, I say to people who want to engage me in my service, what I say to people is this: if you're prepared to ask the question, be prepared to listen to the answer. Because there might be some things you like about yourself, and there may be some things that are real strengths in your life, and some things that you may not like about yourself. And see, those things, even that we don't like, we can change. We can grow. We can we can find new pathways in our life, in our journey. We don't have to remain where we are. We don't have to remain stuck. And it's when we find out that we are a person of strength, like, for example, for me, when I found out that I have great resilience, when I found out that I have great empathy, when I found out that I have great gifts to connect, support, and embolden people, when I found out I have the gift of the gab, as my wife would say, and I have the gift of chat, and I have the gift to engage with anybody across any sector, across any sphere in their life. When you have and experience those gifts, I think, and you find out who you are because of those gifts, I think that becomes the moral imperative then for you to share those gifts with others.
Yeah.
I think, you know, there's a bit in Scripture saying, don't light your light and keep it under a bed. Put your light somewhere where people can see it. So when you experience those gifts in yourself, you have a universal moral imperative to share those gifts with others. Whatever it might be. Yeah. Whatever it might be. And if you help another person in the process, that's paying it forward. That's paying it forward. That's doing the universal thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that you said yes. And it's so funny because it made me think about myself, because I would never have thought, because I'm a visual artist as my background, that I would be doing radio and sharing people's gifts with the world. Like, that is a gift that I have, that I didn't know I had that I was meant to do that. I was meant, because people find me. I don't seek out. People seek me out, and it's always the right fit. And they have a message that I love, and I have found a platform to share it, and it just happened, and I'm good at it. I'm a fantastic listener.
Melissa, you're not good at it. You're brilliant at it. You are brilliant at it. Right?
Thank you. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I have always been a good listener, and I've always been a big thinker. And it is not surprising to me that I have attracted people who have messages that need to be shared, and that I am the person here sharing these messages with my show, you know, which just wasn't something that I had envisioned for myself. So that's what's so amazing about doing this kind of work, and what you help people find inside themselves, because you work one-on-one with people, and you also work with companies, but you help people find this in themselves. So you want to talk a little bit about that, because we only have 5 minutes left. So why don't you share a little bit about what your workshop is and what you will be sharing with us who take your workshop?
Okay. First of all, I don't claim to be something I'm not. So I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a trained counselor. I'm not a medical health practitioner. I'm a pastoral mentor. I'm a pastoral well-being consultant. So I take the skills. The skills that I've used and gleaned from my priestly life and my priestly training. I build those gifts into developing a really strong well-being mentoring program. And I will tell people who come on my program, and if you do join up and join and register for my program, you will be with me, and I will be with you every step of the way in terms of this journey. So yes, it may only exist for 4 weeks, actually, but the journey is longer than that. The journey is for the rest of your life. So as your guide on the side, as your brother from another mother, I will be with you for as long as the journey exists. And secondly, what I tell people is, I will not ask you to do anything that I haven't done myself. So all the exercises, all the activities in terms of my program are activities and exercises that I have done myself, that I have proved, work for me, and hopefully they may work for you too. Thirdly, I don't guarantee success, but what I will guarantee, though, is that if you invest fully in the program and invest fully in you, and that if you believe you matter, then great things will happen as a result of being on my program.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I agree with you. And when is your starting, Seamus? When is it? Is it?
It's starting early February now, so I think the first date I have in the calendar is around the 8th of February. The 8th of February. So if you go on to finduniquelyyou.com and look for /workshops and look for me, you'll see all the new dates up there, Melissa. So they'll all be there.
Okay. No, I'm excited for you because I think it's amazing. It's amazing what you're doing. And like I said, every time I've talked to you, I leave the conversation feeling so much joy and happiness because you have that energy. You know, you love to be with people who are filled with joy, right? You can feel it when you're in the presence of someone who really loves their life and wants to share it compared to being with somebody who all they do is complain and bring you down. You leave that person exhausted. You're like, stay away from me, right? You want to be with the joyous people. You're like, I want what you got.
Yeah. We deserve to be happy, Melissa. We deserve to have joy in our lives. Life is there to be lived and lived to the full. It's not there just to be existed. It's there to be lived. Every second of every day is there to be lived to our utmost. And what my program will help you to do is begin to become aware of what's really important in your life and how to get what you really want. What you think you want might be different to what you really want. And that's what my program will help to support people to do.
No, I love it. Yeah, because that's what the exercises I have in the book, because you think you want something, but that's not what you really want, right? And then you discover by really getting to know who you are, back to that question, who are you? Getting to know who you are, then you'll know what the next steps are to take. So is there anything you want to leave us with? One last thing, because we're going to be wrapping up in like a minute.
Okay. I'll leave you with one guided thought. If you want to be stuck, be stuck. If you want to be unstuck, connect to my program.
Yeah, I love that. It was such a pleasure having you with me today. Thank you so much.
Melissa,
and check out
Melissa, we definitely need to meet face to face, right? Some stage in the future, you and I definitely need to meet on an earthly plane, right? We do.
Yeah. Okay, definitely. Thank you. And guys, thank you so much for listening to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa, creating the life you crave. Wishing everyone a wonderful week filled with joy, abundance, and love. Peace.